Hey everybody, this is Dave coming to you from the Gaming Cave. Today I'm going to do something a little different, something I haven't done before. I'm going to call this Final Thoughts. Okay, and we're going to do final thoughts on, my mind went blank, Silent War 2.0. You guys can read it, I can't see it. Okay, so we're doing final thoughts, Silent War 2.0 from Compass Games. It includes the expansion IJN Imperial Japanese Navy 2.0. This was a redo of their very first game released by Compass Games. And I've been playing it. I think it's been on my table for about 3 weeks now. And I started on a short campaign, and we're not even halfway through the short campaign yet. I probably got, I don't know, I didn't add it up. There's 6 videos, and they're all, a couple of them are almost 2 hours, and then all the rest of them are at least an hour to an hour and a half. So you can see we've probably got 10, 12 hours, maybe 8 to 10 hours of video time here on this game. And it's slow going when you're videoing because I can't play the game as fast as I would. But there are some advantages to me playing the game and shooting a video and putting it online, because people that are more familiar with the game than I am have a chance to watch it. And usually I get 1 or 2 people that are really familiar with the game, and they point out, hey, you missed this, you didn't do this, let me explain this to you, those things. And that actually helps. It helps me, and I know that other people read those comments, so they also see that. But a game like this, I'm going to show you the setup here so that you get an idea just how much space this game really did take. So let me move the camera over here. I just want you to get my chair out of the way. Here's the, so back up. Here's I got a table, and the whole table's consumed with the game board, the game play mats, the other dividers, cups that you need to draw from, my dice tower, the player aids, the scenario booklet, a little space for counters that you use constantly. So just right there alone is just the plain surface. So if you're going to have this game, you got to have room to put this out, and because it is a long game, you got to leave it out. So know that if you're going to buy the game. And then on this table, and sorry it's a little brighter because the sun's on this side, but this is another table that I have all the pieces that are being used or not used in the game. And I have some cups here that have the destroyers in them, the auxiliary ships. These are all the different U.S. submarines, the Japanese submarines here. So we have this, and in the baggies, I got all the different ships and counters that we're not even using. So we haven't even tapped into those. Then we got the rule book and the IJN book. So there's a lot going on with this game, and it does take a lot of space. So I just wanted you to kind of, be aware. Let me get myself positioned here again. Sorry for I'm doing my own camera work here. So we'll get squared up here. Okay. So a lot to the game, and so let's break it down a little bit. First of all, we talked about the size of the game that you're going to, tables that you're going to need, or the space that you're going to need, and you're going to need it for a while. I picked the short campaign, number 1, and it was right after Pearl Harbor, and thinking, short, I knew campaigns are a little bit longer. They have patrols, where you run a patrol with a couple subs, or I don't know how many, for like one week or 2 weeks or whatever it was, maybe 1 month. Maybe I should have played that for the video, but the campaigns, usually you start to learn more about the game. And so there, I think that helps with you. Hopefully that, you guys would see where I was doing it and maybe making a mistake so that you wouldn't do it, or that I cleared up something for you in the setup or the way this piece of the game works. It's really my goal on these videos, is to show you how I'm playing it, and either for some people it's clarity, right? Oh, I was going to buy this game, but man, I don't know if that I want this game. It may be too complex, or oh, I really like the looks of that game. I think I'll get it, but I've got to make sure I got the table for it or the space. So those kinds of things, I hope that you get out of it. And then in the meantime, we learn about playing the game. One thing I wish game designers would do in these rule books is, you have a game that's designed for solitaire. So solitaire gamers play games by themselves. If I wasn't shooting a video, I would have played the game the way that I thought I was doing it right. And I may or may not have seen detected some of these rule, what do I want to call them? Not technicalities, but there are very specific things in the rules, and I probably missed, I know I missed some of them, and you guys pointing them out helped. But they should either put examples in to help with those, or clarify some things. Why they had to make the rule about rounding up and rounding down with a half firepower more complex than it needed to be. Because they're very specific on what rounds up and what rounds down, and yet in the game, the round down is 0.499 or less. Nowhere in the game can you score a 0.499. You're either at 0.5, which is 1/2, or you're at 1, or you're at 0. Why complicate it with this and then round up, round down? You round up if it's here, you round down here. I'm telling you, they made this way too difficult. And they should have put an example in the game, in the rule book, about that, to specify this is how this works. Because even on BGG, I couldn't find anybody that was actually talking about this. So it's things like this that make games hard for people. And then there's a lot of little rules and things that common sense to me aren't necessarily the rules. Another example in this game was Dutch Harbor. In the rules, and it was pointed out to me, I think twice because I blew it twice, was Dutch Harbor only comes into play when it comes on a combat event table. There's a certain rule, one of the rules that activates combat event or scenario event, maybe a war event, the war event table. So the war events can activate Dutch Harbor. If you don't get a war event, it doesn't activate until you go to War Package 2, which you don't do in this first scenario. So that's the only way Dutch Harbor activates. And yet, in the scenario, they tell you, you have reinforcements that come out of Dutch Harbor. Now, in the rule book, there's a little blurb in there that says, if Dutch Harbor's not active, they come out of Pearl Harbor. So why write a scenario that says your reinforcements come out of Dutch Harbor? Because my mind said, they're coming out of Dutch Harbor, I put them in Dutch Harbor, and that makes Dutch Harbor active. The game activated it. It didn't have to be a special role, but that's not the way it works. The way it works is, if I didn't have it activated, they come out of Pearl Harbor. So see how the little things like this can make the game more confusing than it needs to be. Either don't put it in the scenario to come out that way, because odds are it's not there, or put a blurb in your scenario that says these reinforcements come out of Pearl Harbor unless Dutch Harbor has already been activated by the war events. Oh, then I would have been coming out of Pearl Harbor, because Dutch Harbor never would have been activated yet during my play. See, it's all in the wording and the way that you present things. My personal opinion, and that's all this is is designers got to make, when they make a game and they put a lot of rules in a game, and I'm okay with that. And rules can add realism, but they can also make a game, you can miss things in the game, and maybe you don't get the full benefit of everything. Like I said, if I'd have been playing by myself without somebody else watching it, I would have missed that. I would have played with Dutch Harbor. I would have had some other things, the half firepower. Maybe if I ended up reading it, but nobody should have to read a set of rules 3 or 4 times to pick up all the little things. Maybe it's just because I'm getting older and I can't pick up on all this stuff. I read these rules front to back before I started playing. Then I jumped into the game and thought, you know what? Let's give it a try. I read the playthrough example. I did all those things, and I still made mistakes. It's okay. That's part of playing the game. At the end of the day, you got to enjoy the game. If you're not going to enjoy the game, then don't buy the game. So that's where I'm at. I think I really think this is a great game. This really is. And what I'd really like to do is sit here and play the game now, without filming it, without having to worry about timing, and play as much of it as I can play. I can sit in my chair, I can roll the dice, I can do the stuff I need to do, and it goes a lot faster than when I'm trying to explain everything that I'm doing as we video. Okay, that's the way it works when you're videoing. You explain everything so everybody knows what you're doing. So I called this segment Final Thought. So let's have the final thought. Okay, so the final thought on this is Silent War 2.0 from Compass Games with the IJN expansion 2.0 is a good game. It really is. If you're into World War II, submarines, large war campaigns, and you got to suffer through the early years with horrible torpedoes and a hard factor to get a ship sunk, and you got to work your way through that. And luckily the destroyers aren't real good yet, and the mix in the cups isn't really heavy, so you can get through that. But you're going to get a lot of small tonnage stuff early on, most likely. But I do believe it's a good game. What does IJN 2.0? What did that expansion add? Well, it gives you more variety in the ships that you're facing. So instead of that destroyer at 2,000 tons or 1,000 tons and the rating being this, you don't know what you're going to draw out of that cup. Same thing for the auxiliary ships that you draw for. You just don't know what you're going to draw. You might get a bigger ship, or you might get a smaller one. I saw both of them happen, so they both can happen. But it does add, for people that like that additional realism, it does add something for the game, and I do like that. Even though it means I got to draw an extra, I got to make extra draws or whatever. It's okay. It adds that flavor to the game, and I like that. So that part of it I did like also. I think it was if it had been a separate expansion, I probably would have bought it at some time. I'm glad they put it inside the game. I thought that was a good move by Compass. Compass puts out a nice quality game. The counters are nice. The rule book, the game board being mounted, all those things, that top notch to me. I'm really happy with the game itself. And like I said, this is a game that you've got to have time to play it, and you got to have a space where you can set it up and leave it. So, I think at some point that's what I'll do. I'll set this game up and I want to do the big campaign, because I want to see what happens with the subs as they come in and out. We were 2 months into the game, and I hadn't sunk a lot of ships, but I had sunk a few, but I also have not lost a sub. So I've taken damage, but I haven't had one sunk yet. So, you know, the odds of that going on, that doesn't last forever. But, you know, at this point in the game, I was having a good time with it because at least I wasn't having my boats weren't getting sunk. I was doing some damage to the ship. So it is possible to sink ships in this game. It's just a matter of, you know, you got to have those rolls with that -2 modifiers that you really got to, you got to be in the right column with the right ships and hope you don't get picked up by some destroyers and stuff. So, if you do buy this game, know that you really got to pay attention to the rule book. You really got to read through it. Do your homework. Make sure you're catching everything. Make sure you're reviewing rules. Check BGG. Check my video. Check other videos out there. Just make sure that the game's that if you have a question, you're looking to see how somebody else did it, or if they've got a question, or post a question on BGG for it, and you know, get an answer about it. So those places are there to help too. So you know what? At the end of the day, though, would I buy this game now that I've got it? The answer is yes, I would. It is a really nice game. It's really made well. It's really packaged well, and I was having fun playing the game. Now I'm at the point where I just want to play it, not be making videos with it, and get on with the game. So you know, like I said, I think at some point I'll probably set this up and we'll do I'll do a full campaign on it where I can just sit and play. Maybe if I do that, what I do is I take some videos of here's how the war's going, or something like that. Show you a little excerpts from it or something like that. I think that could be fun too. A lot of these solitaire games, there's a lot of campaigns that we can do that with. You know, play the big battle, and maybe instead of showing every single turn, you take snippets. You know, here's where we're at now. Maybe every year or every month. I don't know. We'll figure something out. So my final thought is, if you like this type of game, buy it. You'll have a blast with it. You really will. But if it's not your cup of tea, don't get it. You know, don't waste your time if you don't have the space for it. If you don't have the patience to set up a game and play it for a lot of hours. I think they said the full-length campaign is something like 200 hours or something. So, I mean, that's a lot of playing on one game, a lot of it. But I think, regardless of the fact, I think you'll have fun with it. So, I hope you enjoyed this segment. It's a little different. I won't be showing any more videos of Silent War 2.0 for a while. But I've had fun walking through it, learning about the game, showing it to everybody. Hope you guys enjoyed it. And you know what? We'll get ready for something new. I've got a game kind of waiting that we can go on to. It'll be a little different. And I'll have a video out on that, open the box, and we'll see what's up with that game as things go on. And, you know, I play these games, and then, you know, at some point we come back and we're going to go back into some of these games I played before and pick them up and play some new scenarios or maybe different portions of them or something like that to keep showing some of the stuff. It's, you know, I like these games. I don't want to be play them once and put them up and never play them again. Before I started shooting videos, I was playing the same games, you know, multiple times because I had that. But once I started shooting videos, it was kind of like, play this game, get it done, now you got another game to play, get it done, now there's another game to play. So it kind of works that way. So okay, that's enough. Like I said, Silent War 2.0, Compass Games. It's a great game. I think you're going to enjoy it if you like this type of game. If you do, if you haven't already bought it, I would get it. I think it's sold out, but they've already done the reprint, so it'll be back online in the Compass store probably very soon now. They didn't wait long they recognized that this was a big seller for them. So if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. And if you like this video, as always, give me that thumbs up, like the video, leave me any comments that you want to. And I'll probably try to do this at the end of the games moving forward as we go along, just to kind of let you know, hey, this is what I did, or I really like this about the game, or I have an issue with this part of the game, like I did about the rule book. So, okay, hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you guys on the next video, and everybody take care.